Yeah, so were you gonna testify? Well, after the testify, after the hearings are over, all three of them, then we were gonna bring our
This? That's for, oh, sorry.
Let me go ahead and call the meeting to order. Secretary, call the roll.
Senator Tom Butler.
Here.
Senator Chris Elliott.
Here.
Senator Arthur Orr. Senator Darrell Allen. Senator Greg Albritton. Senator Dan Roberts. Senator Lance Bell. Senator Keith Kelly. Senator Coleman Madison.
Here.
Senator Marika Coleman.
Here.
Senator Robert Stewart.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, quorum being present, we're ready to conduct business. First bill on the agenda will be Senate Bill 1, Senator Gudger.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the opportunity to be here today in committee. I appreciate all the hard work and time that y'all let me have in putting into this bill from last session until this session. I do have a substitute that is in front of you, so make sure you see that, pull that out. And before we even start on the last bill from last year that we brought forward and pre-filed, this is the bill that we're going to be talking about today, is the substitute bill. I don't know if you would like to, Chairman, to go ahead and make some, if we can make a motion to adopt that.
We'll need to adopt the
Mr.
substitute.
Chairman, I would move to adopt the substitute.
Who made the motion?
Or
Moves to adopt Gudger's substitute, seconded by Senator Roberts.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess I was, as it relates to the sub and even the adoption of it, the sub is 6 pages long. The original bill is 4 pages long. We just kind of got it right in front of us. Before the adoption, can he literally just give us a little bit of a synopsis prior to?
Yeah, if you hadn't answered any, that was the next thing, is for Senator Gudger to give us a overview of his bill and the changes in the substitute.
I've got some opening remarks I'd like to say, if that's all right with the committee first, just for a moment, and then go into that, if that's all right, Chairman. First of all, this bill that's a substitute in front of you has been reviewed by groups all over this state over the last 9 months. The groups that have opposed this bill and groups that are for this bill. This substitute that's being presented today is to the best of our ability for making changes so that we have heard everyone's voice throughout this whole state. I think this bill is the best for the people of the state of Alabama. And when I say that state of Alabama, I'm talking about all people in the state of Alabama. I believe that this bill helps it so that voting is secure, honest, and it knocks down the last leg of ways that I'm going to say the bad actors and through the campaigns are trying to steal our elections. This bill should not be a Republican bill. This bill should not be a Democratic bill. This bill should not be an independent bill. This should be a bill for every Alabamian for secure elections. I found a quote through my research, and I thought it represented this bill well. A democratic republic cannot survive if election laws allow voters to commit fraud easily. That's what's happening in our state right now through ballot harvesting. Just to be clear, before we go into this, the number one request that I get from groups all over the state is that disabilities, people with disabilities, including deaf, blind, and especially our veterans overseas, none of that changes from what we have on federal code that we can't do anything about right now anyway, because we're state government and it supersedes us. We're not changing any of that in this bill, just to make sure everyone's clear. And those people can still get assistance if they need to. That's my opening remarks, Chairman. I'd like to go into the bill and just get the highlights, if that's okay.
Please.
Okay, so this substitute that's here. This bill has about 5 significant changes, or 5 things that change, and I want to make sure everyone in the room and in listening on the microphone throughout the state and your committee and you, Chairman, understand exactly what it does. First, the substitute keeps the language in the current law to allow for any voter to receive assistance in filling out the absentee application that he or she desires. That's current law now. We're keeping it in the law, but as a number one point that a lot of people said, we need assistance for people, especially with disabilities. Again, we're not changing that. They can still get assistance. If my father was an amputee and had bad eyesight at the end of his life before he passed away, he could ask for assistance. He could get this through this substitute. Number two, this bill makes it unlawful for any person to knowingly distribute an application that is pre-filed or pre-filled with the voter's name or any information already on the ballot application. Meaning, when you give someone a ballot application, everything should be blank. There should be a name on there, any district, anything whatsoever, just a ballot application. Number three, this bill makes it unlawful for an individual to submit a completed absentee ballot application to the absentee election manager other than his or her own. So if you help somebody fill in an application or you fill in your own, you are responsible for returning that to the election manager of your county or the Secretary of State, either one. But what's happening now is they're grouping together in what we call harvesting. And there's data that shows where certain people pull in 120 ballots at a time. Since the data I've got from 2016 till now, at one time and turn that in, we're trying to alleviate that. The bill also makes a Class C felony for anyone knowingly receiving payment or a gift for distributing, ordering, requesting, collecting, completing pre-filing, obtaining, or delivering a voter's absentee ballot application. So if you receive payment, there's a deterrent there now, which we don't have currently. That is a Class C felony. The other side of that coin is this bill makes it unlawful and makes it a Class B felony to knowingly pay or provide a gift to a third party to distribute, order, request, collect, pre-fill, complete, obtain, and deliver a voter's absentee ballot application. In short, you cannot pay or receive, or it will be a felony. Everything else is the same as in the last bill, but those are the changes. I think that I would like to reserve my time if we're going to have a public hearing, Chairman, or if you have questions before I sit down, I'll answer those, but if you want to wait until the public hearing or whatever you decide, but those are the changes. Those are my opening remarks. I would like another chance at the microphone after we have a public hearing.
With your comments, we'll start with those who have signed up on Senate Bill 1.
Thank you, Chairman.
Becky Garriston.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. It's nice to see you all again. I'm Becky Garretson, the Executive Director of Eagle Forum of Alabama. Over the last decade, across the state of Alabama, there have been multiple convictions for absentee ballot fraud, also called ballot harvesting. Eagle Forum is opposed to ballot harvesting because it jeopardizes free and fair elections, it undermines ballot secrecy, and it allows ballot harvesters to prey on vulnerable voters, either by third-party organizations with biased political opinions or by people whom they don't even really know. We support the provisions in this bill that prohibit nonprofit groups or individuals from distributing, collecting, or returning ballots from absentee voters for payment. And we also support the important provision in the bill that allows assistance to the blind, disabled, or those who are unable to read and write. Thank you for adding that. In America, we are self-governed, and we accomplish this through our ballot. So it only makes sense that we keep close tabs on where our ballots go and how they get there once they leave our control. Prohibiting ballot harvesting eliminates risks and hazards that could cost you your vote, and it provides confidence of knowing that your ballot will end up being counted as it should. By supporting SB 1, we create an opportunity to enhance the security of elections in Alabama and safeguard the sanctity of the voting process. Thank you.
Terry Williams.
Good afternoon. My name is Tari Williams. I'm a full-time employee with Greater Birmingham Ministries. GBM is a faith-based nonprofit social services and advocacy organization. We provide voter education and lessons in civic engagement and assistance with voter registration and restoration and voting as needed, among other things. We predominantly work with poor and low-income individuals and communities, including those who are homeless, senior in age, formerly incarcerated, and currently incarcerated in jail or prison. All would be severely impacted by the passage of SB 1. The bill purports to safeguard electoral integrity, yet in reality, it systematically dismantles the very mechanisms that ensure every eligible citizen, regardless of their circumstances, can participate in our democracy. The work GBM undertakes, educating, registering voters, and nurturing responsible civic participation, is rendered null by SB 1. This bill doesn't just erect barriers, it obliterates the bridge connecting disenfranchised citizens to their democratic right to vote. Focusing on the incarcerated population, my role at GBM involves empowering these individuals with knowledge and tools for civic re-engagement and responsible citizenship, emphasizing that their societal contribution does not pause with incarceration. Voting via absentee ballot is a critical step in maintaining their connection to society, aiding in a smoother re-entry process, and reducing the likelihood of recidivism. However, SB 1's stringent measures making absentee voting a challenge for these individuals who already face significant obstacles from within the prison system, such as lack of resources, insufficient staffing, and systematic inefficiencies in mail handling.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Amari Benton, let me remind everybody to speak, and you have 2 minutes.
Greetings. My name is Armani Benton, and I'm a senior who attends Alabama State University, and I hold current positions as the president of Pi Sigma Alpha and the Student Government Associate Justice. College and civic organizations help young adults become active within their community and politics. This is why the SB 1 bill cannot be passed. For obtaining an absentee ballot application for someone else, SB 1 would charge individuals with a misdemeanor. Providing absentee ballot assistance for money will also constitute a felony, meaning staff members who facilitate absentee voting as a part of their job could be charged with a felony under SB 1. If passed, SB 1 could penalize student organizations, faculty, and staff that facilitate voting and stifle civic participation on campuses. This bill will have a negative impact for college students, which will result in a decline of young adults voting, overcrowding of prisons in Alabama. Also, the record and lives of many young adults will be tarnished as if they are criminals. SB 1 will dismantle the relationship between college students and our local representatives. All 14 of the university partners of the Higher Education Partnership have civic and college organizations. Those university partners are alma maters of Governor Kay Ivey and the 6 of the senators who support the bill. For example, if a college organization of the Student Government Association, Sigma Nu or Alpha Gamma Delta sets up at the Student Center to help their students fill out their absentee ballot applications, should the students in the organization be charged with a crime? If an elderly person is disabled, therefore he gives college students gas money for absentee ballot assistance, would you feel justified if the student was charged with a felony? Could you feel honorable knowing that students from your alma mater were arrested for a law you passed? Also, how would you regain the trust of your alma mater students and faculty? Finally, as a result of students being arrested for helping with absentee ballots, would alumni and corporate funding decline for these universities? In passing, SB 1 will dismantle the consciousness of our constitutional rights as voters. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Benton. Travis Jackson.
Thank you all for the opportunity to speak. My name is Travis Jackson. I am a Black Voters Matter advocate who volunteers with Rolling to the Polls, which is a group of like-minded people transporting voters to their accurate voting polls. And I'm also an Iraq veteran. Many government officials are so determined to send our state back to 1924 when it is now 2024, when Jim Crow laws like black codes were still in full existence. Black codes were racially fueled policies exercised in Confederate states like Alabama in 1865. The sole purpose was to uphold white supremacy by taking away the rights to vote from African American families. Senate Bill 1 is just that. It is a modern day black code. It is a fact many individuals with disabilities exercising their right to vote through absentee ballot. If this bill becomes law, then they will put other lives in jeopardy. If someone is paralyzed and they ask for someone to retrieve that absentee ballot, they will be charged with a Class A misdemeanor. SB 1 also criminalizes people who receive funds. Example, if a pregnant person, especially someone who's within their second and third trimester, provides gas money to their non-relative neighbor for issuing or acquiring an absentee ballot, then they will both be charged with a felony. Make that make sense. If this authoritarian bill becomes law, then there will be an increase in voter suppression, such as heavy police forces at several voting poll locations. Taking away someone's civil rights or request for their voter assistance expresses the highest form of human indecency. Therefore, I strongly plead for the committee members to uphold Senate Bill 1, just like I do. Thank you for your consideration of my time.
Barbara Emanuel.
Right there. Yeah, are you right here in front of you? Right there.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Emanuel, as stated. I am the affiliate president of the National Federation of the Blind of Alabama. I'm here once again to express opposition to Senate Bill 1. Basically, we want everyone to know that we are against this bill. It states currently that anyone who will assist individuals will be criminalized for providing such services. Of course, currently, the bill that you all have presented has some provisions in there. Those provisions have not been stated clearly how this is going to take place, and we just need some clear definitions of how we can participate in one of America's greatest rights. We know that if an individual assists us, just as has been stated, maybe give someone something monetary for gas or maybe a meal. Individuals, not only disabled individuals, every individual runs the possibility of being criminalized just performing one of Alabama's hospitalities, which is showing appreciation. Of course, all of our southern states, we realize hospitality is within what we are defined to be. This bill does not exemplify who we are. We do not want to be minimized from casting our vote, whether we're disabled or quote unquote normal. We want to be able to cast votes as any other individual and able to assist someone who needs the assistance. Prior to an individual assisting someone, they are classified as a legal citizen. But once this takes place, they stand the possibility of being criminalized. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Ms. Manuel. Roland Grady. Rolanda.
Roland. Good afternoon. My name is Roland Grady, and I am an Andrew Goodman Foundation Ambassador at the University of Alabama's chapter of Vote Everywhere. The Andrew Goodman Foundation is a national organization that empowers young people to initiate and sustain creative, effective social actions that advance civic engagement. At the University of Alabama, students come from all of Alabama's 67 counties. UA does not offer Election Day off, which makes traveling home to vote incredibly difficult. As a result, students on Election Day are left to navigate the absentee ballot process. To vote by absentee ballot, students must fill out and mail an application, as well as provide a copy of a photo ID. Once students are approved after submitting their application, they will still need to fill out their absentee ballot and mail it back home. For many students who are juggling extracurriculars, class, and work, this process can be confusing and daunting. Vote Everywhere came to help this void and offer support to peers who are struggling to understand the application process and deadlines. We are completely nonpartisan with the goal to help ensure that every student is able to make their voice heard. We do not assist students in completing or returning their absentee ballots, but we do actively work to educate and support our students in learning to value and act on their right to vote. Some of these efforts include providing assistance in determining how our in-state and out-of-state campus members can vote by absentee ballot. A resource we offer for this is TurboVote, a nonpartisan online service which helps voters in all 50 states and Washington, D.C. access voting guides, alerts, and real-time help they need to vote in every election. Since many of our students are not from Tuscaloosa and continue to vote in their hometowns, TurboVote provides critical resources to help them navigate the absentee ballot system, specifically with the regulations of where they're from. With our contract of TurboVote, they send any member of our community who signs up an application for an absentee ballot. They include the application with a stamped envelope pre-addressed to the appropriate official for where they are registered. It is up to the individual who receives these to complete the application and mail it in. But if requested, TurboVote can still continue to send reminders via text and email to alert them to deadlines and applications for the actual ballot to be received.
Ms. Grady, 2 minutes is up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Betty Mack Shannon.
Good afternoon. My name again is Betty Mack Shin. I'm here with the League of Women Voters of Mobile. I'm the Voter Services Chair. I see SB1 as a scare tactic, misinformation, and a return to tactics that denied minorities access to the vote. Things have changed significantly. The possibility of ballot harvesting does not exist in the 21st century. There's no documentation to that fact. Thank God for technology. Reports of tampering with votes is an unproved and deceitful tactic to scare citizens. In 2020, when the Democratic Party was successful and cries got louder, the accusations were more ridiculous. There is no proof, none, no visible studies providing the existence of voter fraud in any way, shape, or form. SB1 is a ludicrous accusation and fear tactic to impede absentee voting. Those unable to make it to the polls need help with casting an absentee ballot. From the physically disabled, unable to make it to the polls, to those without adequate transportation, students, and poor folk. You are effectively threatening nonpartisan citizens willing to help the least of those.
Thank you. Mr. Percy Garrett.
Straight ahead.
Straight ahead.
No, a little bit this way, this way. Yeah, you're good. Straight ahead, right there. Yeah. Yeah. I'll turn that back.
All right. Good afternoon. Senator Guthrie. My name is Percy Garrett from Dothan, Alabama. And I salute the senator from Coleman, a man of many good things, businessman, politician in Coleman, several terms served, and now serving me, serving us. I salute you for your service. Although I think what you're serving us today is tragic, this bill is on the third go-around. Last year was 209. This year is SB 1. I've come today to plead with you to stop this bill yourself, because it's a suppressive bill. It hurts those who respect you and look up to you. Sometimes I think we strain other than that and swallow a camel. I think we can do better. I think we can serve those who vote for you. We vote for you because we believe in you. So I'm not coming to fight. I'm coming to make a request. Please, this bill that does nothing good for anybody, please stop it.
Kathy Jones.
Just one second. All right, thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Kathy Jones, and I live in Huntsville. And as the president of the League of Women Voters of Alabama, I am so honored to represent passionate volunteers from across the state who are supporting citizens and helping them get ready to vote. I also am honored to represent League members across the state who have disabilities. 1/3 of Alabamians are disabled. They would be harmed by this bill, and not being able to choose the sister of their choice when they're casting their ballot, which is a federally protected law. I realize that you've got an amendment or a substitute here, but just wanted to say for the current SB 1, as it states here, and we'll look at the substitute, we are concerned. The League helps voters by providing voter registration, polling place checks, appropriate ballot application, giving them the correct one for their county, giving copies of IDs, even double checking, because there's so many ways to have your vote not count. Across the state, we are one of many civic organizations that provide help, as well as caregivers, nurses, church members, and school administrators, teachers, and students are all providing assistance to people who vote. And we are explaining a fundamentally confusing and error-prone process, and we fill a gap that the elections officials cannot fill. They work their business hours. We're there when they're not working. SB 1 is extremely harmful, and it will criminalize everyday voters who are asking friends for help, and any friend or volunteer who responds would also be guilty of a crime. And if any money, like gas money, is offered to pay for transportation, and if it's accepted, then you're looking at a Class C or B or C felony, which would have harsh penalties equivalent to manslaughter in the state of Alabama, which is unfair. All right, thank you.
Good afternoon, Senators. I serve congregations in both Birmingham and Tuscaloosa. And as clergy, one of the values of my faith tradition states that we promote the democratic process, both in our congregations and in society at large. Protecting and defending our democracy is part of our religious beliefs. While I would never tell anyone how to vote, it is my religious obligation to ensure that my folks have access to their ballots, and since our sanctuary is a polling place, to ensure that every citizen of Alabama has a clear and easy path to voting. SB 1 would inhibit access to voting and inhibits the religious liberties of my people. I pray that you will honor the importance of the voice of each citizen citizen of Alabama and allow them to vote for their leaders and their religious values. Please reject SB 1.
What was?
Good afternoon. My name is Kylie Kerr. I'm a resident of and a public school teacher in Shelby County. I am here because my students are students with individualized education plans. They are students with IEPs. They have specific learning disabilities, autism, ADHD, and they fall under one of the 13 protected categories under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. My students have every right to vote, but my students with executive functioning disorders, my students who may never be able to physically drive themselves, even though they are protected under part of the substitution, they are still at risk because I am not one of these protected people that could help them. Who is to say that by making sure my student, as they get older, fills out the form correctly, because I pre-filled it out for them with their address that is given to me, that I am not committing a felony? If their parents, many of whom are registered voters and your constituents as well, need assistance themselves due to disability, and as many others have said, the disabled in our country are the majority minority. Any of us could become them at any time, including my 25-year-old younger sister who became legally blind sitting in class at age 17, who is no longer allowed to drive due to a freak accident. I am a protected person under SB 1 for my sister. I am not for my students because I cannot help them in the ways they may need it most. Students with occupational therapy needs, physical therapy needs are not protected under this in the same way as others because they are not illiterate, they are not deaf, they are not blind, and they are not considered invalid in that outdated term. My students and my sisters deserve better. SB 1 does not protect them, it harms them. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Brian Lords. I'm a resident of Limestone County, and thank you for letting me address the committee today. I have assisted many voters that need assistance with the absentee voting process. Many of these people are elderly, disabled, or both. Many of them are economically challenged. They have no internet. They have no way to copy an ID that needs to accompany the absentee application. When it comes time to the application, I have provided them with copies of the application, but with nothing pre-filled, and I make copies of their ID. When it comes time to vote, I've assisted with the completion of the affidavit envelope, which can be very confusing. I do this for free and consider it a community service. To allow everyone a chance to exercise one of their most basic rights, the right to vote. I request that anything be done with SB 1 will make sure that nothing takes away my ability to provide the support. Thank you.
At the end of the, I have on the agenda, and unannounced at the committee, not going to vote today. We've got 4 bills, 3 of them have public hearings, and we have to come into session at 3 o'clock. So we will vote on this bill probably next week, same time. Yes, sir. Yes,
First of all, I want to say thank you to every one of the speakers that got up today and representing here. I've been a city councilman in politics 21 years, and when you walk into a room and there's no one there or cares about what happens, the democratic process loses. And thank you for being here. Even if you're opposing this bill, I appreciate you taking time to be here. My goal of this bill and this substitute is to realize everything you just heard. Make the changes from the original bill into this substitute, which is what's happened. 95% of everything they just said is covered in this substitute. My only fault is that I can't process that bill until we got into session, or you would have seen this bill beforehand. Having said that, I've met with everyone that is opposed that has called me and said, I want to meet with you. I've met with them. Anybody that said, I'm for this bill, I want to meet with you, I've met with them. I've done my due diligence all over the state to feel like this bill is fair. And the key is that we want everybody that wants to be able to vote to have access, to make sure it's a secure vote, and that they're able to vote. The one thing that is the bottom line is that there's illegal activities that are stealing elections. And there was some talk earlier that that's not happening. I have evidence-based facts and data that show you exactly which counties it's happening in. On average, we're 3 to 3.5% absentee ballots. There's a few counties that are over 20%. That means 1 out of every 5 ballots cast is an absentee ballot. There's no way that's possible. Right? Having said that anyway, I've got the data. We can show that from every county throughout the state. From that, it is happening. This substitutes handles the issues that we heard today. I feel like they have. I appreciate the opportunity for the next meeting to come back and forward and talk to you more about this bill. But until then, Mr. Chairman, thank you for your time.
We have one question.
Please.
2 questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I guess I appreciate the gentleman for attempting to remedy some of the problems with the original version of the bill, but they're definitely not all remedied. I was appointed some years ago by the former Secretary of State, John Merrill, on the Voter Fraud Reform Task Force. I was on it. I think Senator Singleton was on it. It was Democrats, Republicans, ACLU, and the Eagle Forum. So you had this cross-section of folks that were on this committee. And what I told Secretary Merrill at that time was that, I don't mind about serving as long as we're not trying to fall into the trap of what was going on federally. And we stuck to what our goal was. And when the research was, I don't know what you have, Senator. I don't know. Your office is down the hall from mine. I would welcome looking at it. But for those of us that were on that committee, I think from like 1986, maybe there were 6 cases. And the cases were on the local government end when it came to absentees. There was not this large-scale fraud that at the national level, the national media and one of those 3-letter news stations kept talking about. And so, that was my challenge there with the misinformation. But even with this bill itself, I've told this same story all 3 years. I told it in the House on Judiciary and now here in this particular committee. Even under the version of the bill that you have right now, my great aunt, Olivia Bazell, not my aunt, my great aunt, who now has stepped into the role of my grandmother since my grandmother has passed. I go to my great aunt Olivia Bazell's home to help her with her absentee ballot. If I help pre-fill it, or when we complete the application itself, if she says to me, which would not be uncommon for her to say, baby, can I give you $2 for your time or for your gas? Both of us, according to this piece of legislation, have committed a crime. And there's something wrong with that. And so, again, if it doesn't fix that, it hasn't remedied the major issues. And again, there have been so many times in this legislative body in the years that I've served, I've asked the question, why are we doing this? And then I'll end up saying, this piece of legislation is not worth the piece of paper that it's written on. Another one of those situations where we just have not had this widespread voter fraud like what the national media, and I just hate when we in Alabama get caught up in that as well. So my question to you then, because I said I had a question, is, under the scenario that I gave you, have me and my aunt Olivia Bazell committed a crime?
The words knowingly distribute, knowingly and willfully receive payment or knowingly pay someone. That's the intent. And so I'm not an attorney.
And I am.
I know, that's
and
what
I
I'm
would
saying.
knowingly.
The mens rea is what they're calling that, right? Which is the term intent. And so that intent in this bill is meant for ballot harvesting. Now, you're not ballot harvesting because you've got that one, the application turned in.
But you would have to show me, and I hear you. And again, you're a friend.
I understand.
But I still would want to know in that particular situation, because you said that this is honing in on ballot harvesting. I just don't see that. Since the Republicans have taken over in 2010, y'all, we've had so many pieces of legislation that had unintended consequences. Let this not be another one. That's all I'm saying. Let's let it not be another one.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman. And I'll try to be brief. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Senator Gudger, I agree with my colleague. I'm not understanding ballot harvesting. Right now, I think federal law says if you need assistance at the poll, you have a right to have anybody of your choosing to assist you. That's in voting. What is the problem with helping somebody to fill out an application? Or even filling out the application, it's going to go to the Board of Registrar's office who's going to check it. And if something is wrong, it's going to be thrown out. I mean, you're just filling out, helping them to get the application. The application is sent to the voter. Again, it goes back to the Board of Registrars to check it. Yeah, I know you say relatives. Everybody don't trust their relatives. I mean, really, and I say this because there may be a young person that's living with you and you say, mail this for me. They're going by whatever they're doing. It may not ever get mail. I've had the situation happen because I've helped people with filling out the applications and everything, and they don't trust everybody. And these little old ladies who work with certain groups, they got this call chain. They call and, well, she's coming, she's on her way to help. But this ballot harvesting doesn't make any sense because the ballot is not sent back to the person who is helping them. It's sent back to the individual person, and they can mail it back. Now, somebody mentioned about the envelopes. Confusing. I don't know if you've ever gone to your probate's office or your clerk's office and watched them count those ballots. And they go through it. First of all, they're going to open it, and if it's in the wrong envelope, it's not going to be counted. They're going to throw it out. You understand? And I've seen it from the ground up. They're going to throw it out. So all I'm saying is that the ballot harvesting that doesn't fly. The other thing is the reason why you may find numbers higher on absentee ballot, and we ought not to be trying to discourage people from voting. Whether it's absentee ballot is there for a reason. We need to be, I wish more people could vote because standing in a long line, but you have people who live in rural counties who have to work and they live long distances from their home. They can't take off of their job on election day to go and vote. So many of them vote absentee ballot. And you still have, in spite of education, we still have a lot of people that don't read well, and they need the assistance. So all I'm saying is that I don't want to see unintended consequences. I don't want to see the election process abused and misused. You're going to always have some rotten apples in the barrel. But it is not a pervasive kind of thing, and wherever you find the criminal convicted of these kinds of crimes, let's go there. Don't call me into the principal's office for something Ms. Jones did. Get Ms. Jones. So, like, if somebody's violating this law, get them. Don't penalize these people who are sitting here. And as you can see, this has a great interest. This is going to be a ripple effect from one end of the state to the other. I want to thank everybody for coming.
Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized?
Senator Stewart.
I thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Chairman, to speak. And I wanted to just express my grave concern because I represent the Black Belt, as you know, and Selma, Alabama is my hometown. And Senator Coleman alluded to the hurdles that people face in the Black Belt and other rural communities voting. When you talk about GOTV organizations, we need more people more engaged in the voting process now more than ever, especially when we look at the voter turnout. It's dismal. And this legislation doesn't warrant anyone to have a felony. We as a body need to be serious, get serious about prisons overcrowding. And that's not an unintended consequence. This is intentional. And oh, just clap. It's okay, clap. And these GOT organizations, like Greater Birmingham Ministries, like Black Voters Matter, they are mutual aid societies. They are helping impoverished people. And the lack of access to transportation is a huge hurdle. We don't have public transportation en masse in this state. And let's not begin to talk about the distances that people have to drive to their polling precincts. So I would ask you to reconsider the felony aspect of this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. May I say one more thing, Chairman, and I'll head out. I believe that a lot of what all three of our Democratic senators just said was assistance. And I just want to read for the crowd one paragraph that's on page 4, line 89 through 94, to make sure that everybody understands. I agree. We need assistance and people need assistance, right? But this states, so you're able to, any applicant may receive assistance in filling out the application that he or she desires, comma, but each application shall be manually signed by the applicant and, comma, if he or she signs by the mark, the application shall also include the name of the witness and the witness's signature. So again, a lot of what you're talking about, we heard, we put back into this bill. I'm going to figure out a way so you can see the substitute because it's changed from the original version, which I think why a lot of you are here today. Us not voting on it, I'm not able to do that. So I'm going to figure out a way to do that, but I would love to distribute so that you're able to see this to make sure it's not hurting organizations and people are able to get to the vote and polls. Mr. Chairman, that's all I've got. Thank you so much. And committee, thank you. I'll give you a copy.
Okay, we're going to, you have something?
No, I'm ready.
Okay, on Senate Bill 1, Secretary, call the roll.
Mr. Chairman.
What are we accepting the sub?
We're taking a vote on the
Adoption of the sub, we had a
Adoption of the sub.
substitute. Adoption of the sub.
roll call, please. I think you are.
Call the roll.
Aye.
Mr. Cole. Mr. Allen. Mr. Albritton. Senator Roberts. Senator Bell. Senator Kelly. Sorry. Senator Coleman Madison.
No.
Senator Marika Coleman.
No.
Senator Stewart.
No.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Senator Butler.
Aye.
Chairman vote.
Seven ayes, 3 nays, and bill is given a favorable report.
Adoption. We're going to submit you.
Mr. Chairman,
Adoption.
I move we adopt Senate Bill 1 as substituted.
Okay. Who said that?
Ms. Chair. Mr. Chairman.
Voting on this until.
Yeah,
Now
I
we're
thought
voting on the bill.
even the sponsor of the bill said we were not going to be voting on this bill until next week. That's what was just told to the public.
We're going to vote on the bill today.
Did we not tell the people
We just
that?
told the people that, though, Mr. Chairman.
It's all right. It's probably gonna change.
Amendments that you want to have.
Can't hear you.
They can't hear you, Mr. Chair, is what they're saying. They can't hear you.
7-3, bills given a favorable report.
So when will this bill come up, Mr. Chairman?
We're on this, Mr. Chairman, I really just, and I know we have to be in session at 3 o'clock. Am I recognized?
Hold on just a second. Let me get this paperwork in order. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, it has culture normally, we get a substitute on the day of. that we get an opportunity to digest the bill. And that's what I thought we were going to get a chance to do today, because that's how it was presented to the public. Like, this is streaming live for people that all over the state heard at the beginning that we were not going to vote on this bill, that it would give us an opportunity for all of us to look at the bill. But right now, we're being asked to vote on a bill that we have not even had an opportunity to digest.
We didn't adopt the substitute, I don't believe, did we?
Yeah, we just did that. Y'all did it anyway. I didn't vote for it.
So, Mr. Chairman, the motion is to give the bill a favorable report. I think you got
As substituted.
as substituted, and it's got a first and a second, and it's ready.
Senator Gudger.
Mr. Chairman, I would tell you take control of your committee, because he's not the chair of your committee.
Senator Gudger spoke on the bill initially. He wrapped up at the final vote, final conversation. We had 12 people speak against the bill. One person spoke for it. Chairman wants to have a vote today on this bill because we've heard from the public. Now it's time for Senator Gudger to take consideration, and all of you on the committee, consideration of what you've heard, and be prepared to go to the floor with amendments or however you want to do it. So I'd like to call for a vote today in this committee on Senate Bill 1.
It's sad.
Call the roll.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, just
Oh, you're not
hold on.
recognized.
May I
Call the
just say
roll.
something? May I just make one comment? I just would like, because that's why I sat over with Senator Gudger, because I wanted to make sure just this last thing that he brought up on page 4, that anybody can receive assistance from anybody. Taken away, you got to be a family person. But all I'm saying is that I just wish people would have the opportunity. We just got it. So we're trying to read this going through. We're like you. But I think that people need to read it and understand it. I have a strange feeling that this bill will be on the agenda tomorrow. Which means that citizens will not have had an opportunity to look at this, to take it back and digest it, to take it back to your constituents and people that you represent and try to help. I retired from the city of Birmingham as ADA compliant, so I do understand disabilities and barriers. But I want us to understand, because voting is a fundamental right, and we don't want Alabama to be accused of denying anybody. But I do want people to read the bill and understand what the bill says and have an opportunity, if you so desire, Senator Gudger has said, to offer amendments or to get somebody to sponsor amendment. But I don't think you're going to have time to do it tomorrow.
Senator Gudger.
We can't hear you, Senator. Yeah.
Okay, call the roll.
We hear what he just said. Not accessible.
Okay. All right, call the roll. Go ahead.
Senator Elliott.
Aye.
Senator Orr. Senator Allen. Senator Albritton. Senator Roberts. Senator Bell. Senator Kelly. Senator Coleman Madison. Senator Marika Coleman.
No.
Senator Stewart.
No.
Senator Butler.
Aye.
7-3. Wait a minute. Who made the motion? Who made the motion?
Elliott.
Elliott is second.
Or seconded. Okay. Senator Chambliss, who's the other? Call Senate Bill 39, dam safety bill.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for your indulgence needing to get into another committee. This bill is a follow-up to a bill that we passed last session. I had the bill applying to state government as well, but there were some issues that were brought up by DCNR. We've worked over those issues over this year. This is drafted by DCNR to apply to DCNR and agreed upon. So with that, if there are any questions,
Chairman,
I'd be happy to answer.
I make a motion that we adopt the amendment.
Unready.
Y'all have an amendment?
Tell us what they've agreed on.
Hold on just a second. Senator Chambliss,
Yes. The
finish?
Well, do you want me to answer a question?
Yeah. Which question?
Currently in state law, there is no provision or process for the state government to inspect and for dams, inspect their dams, and then what they do with that information and alerting their local EMAs. This lines out that process for them to do.
I'll ask them.
He wants Senate Bill.
I'll second it.
We do have a technical amendment change in 2024 to 2023. There was an error in there.
Y'all have that? You got one?
I got to do Allen's.
I make a motion that we adopt the amendment.
Y'all get time. Wait a minute.
Well, all of them are leaving.
Roberts. You know, worked it out with the damn vote like they do.
I've got it right in front of me.
Section, never mind.
I think there's a question. Just for clarity, the amendment corrects an error. It referenced Act 2024 dash whatever. It corrects it to 2023 dash.
Yeah. The Senate, that's an amendment to Senate Bill 39 by Senator Roberts.
Okay, I got Roberts and Bell. Okay, well, I'm seconding Coleman Madison on the amendment adoption. No, not my amendment is.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. And ayes have it. Okay, call the roll on Senate Bill
39 as amended.
Yeah.
Okay, Senator Butler.
Aye.
Senator Elliott. Senator Orr. No? Did he say anything? He didn't say anything. Okay. Senator Allen. Senator Albritton. Senator Roberts. Senator Bell. Senator Kelly. Senator Coleman Madison. Aye. Senator Marika Coleman. She's gone. Senator Roberts Stewart. Aye. Over. Okay. 9 yeses. 9, it
I
passed.
think you voted for me, but it's an aye. Robert.
Robert Stewart, you got it.
9-0, the bill's given a favorable report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee.
Okay. You ready on your bill? Okay, Senator Allen's bill, Senate Bill 4.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. Many of you may remember in 2001, we was in a special session down here when the tragedy happened and when the Twin Towers was hit. And this bill here, this is the genesis of it. This bill will provide that the 9/11 Remembrance Freedom Flag may be displayed on any public-owned property or premise. And this bill would also provide that a person who displays an unapproved flag on public-owned properties and commits a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
And so that's in essence of the a violation of subsection A. It is a Class C misdemeanor. So, Mr. Chairman, we do have an amendment.
Okay.
We'd like to go ahead and offer that amendment, and that amendment deals with, got it here, replace line 58 through 68 on page 3 with the following. 4, the official flag of any county or municipality in this state. 5, the National League of POW MIA family flag. And then number 6 is the freedom flag. So, Mr. Chairman, that's the amendment, and I do accept that friendly amendment.
Okay.
Question, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Coleman.
Is that all? Because someone said it included any other flag, standard, insignia approved. by the end. But you're speaking of private property. Is that on there? I don't know.
Public, not public, it's public property.
In control, any other flag, standard colors, or insignia improved by the entity in control of the property. Why we add that? Because it's vague. Can we delete that part?
What line are you on?
I'm on line 67, number 11.
Well, not anymore.
And just leave it at the other flags that you had put on here. Because again, you're talking about public property, but you're not specific on number 11, which leaves it open to whatever.
Okay.
So if we could delete that, I'm in agreement with your amendment.
That is, I think that's included in the.
I'm asking, can we take that part off because it's not specific?
Yes, it's line 58 through 68.
No.
Okay.
I agree with the ones that you have articulated, but on your bill here in line 67 and 68, I'm saying take that off because it says any other flag, standard colored, signature, but it's vague.
The amendment says replace line 58 through 68.
Okay.
Okay.
And just go with the ones that you named.
This amendment that's been offered.
And that's it. Okay. Well,
yes, sir.
That's all. Okay. Thank you.
Has the amendment been offered, Mr. Chairman?
Okay. Yeah. Senator Elliott offered the amendment.
Okay. Thank you.
All in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay.
Can I look at it?
Amendment's adopted. Senator Allen.
Okay. So
May I ask one question, sir? Just one question, quick question. I tried to look up because I didn't know what the freedom flag was, but I looked it up, and this is the one that I saw. Is this it?
That's it. That's the flag.
Okay.
You got a whole package. You should have been given a package, and that tells you all the details of the freedom flag program. And so that's it. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Ma'am.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Kelly.
Thank you, sir. I was made aware of something this morning that for example, you've got some public entities that under some programs that they'll go back probably 20 to 30 years for small towns to provide economic development, have some shopping centers and things of that nature. The way that I read this is those individual businesses could not, because that is publicly owned property, they could not display their own business flags and whatever they need for their business. For example, if it's a chain of grocery stores, they couldn't display their own company flag. I think that's covered. I think that's covered in. Yes, I think you're fine on that. But Senator Bell asked a question about the county or the city owning a piece of property, a shopping facility. Right, Senator Bell?
I think that's what he's asking.
Okay, all right. If it's owned by the county, then the bill says, if you go to the front page on line 7, it says on line 7, any public owned property or premise that they own. Premise, yes, sir. So,
okay, the individual businesses still don't own the property, though, sir.
That's correct. Oh.
The tenants in those buildings, for example, if it's a grocery store, the grocery store still doesn't own the property, so they can't put up their own flags for their business because the property itself is owned by the town or the city in this particular case.
Yes, sir. I understand your question.
Yes, sir.
And I would think that we need to discuss this and maybe have an amendment on the floor to fix it if that's the case. I'm not certain, but let's take a look at this.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
One question.
I will work with you on this.
Okay.
Okay.
Senator Allen, one question on page 2, line 52. The official flag of any nation or state that preceded the United States or the state of Alabama in controlling any territory currently constituting the state of Alabama. There were several flags that flown over Alabama. So I guess, are we going to put Confederate flags all over the place or Spanish flag? Who else had the control of the territories?
British and the French.
British and the French.
Yeah.
So are we gonna have them flying too?
I don't think.
Why is this necessary? You know, Senator Allen,
I don't think.
you know, we had this conversation last night. You come up with these bills and I just don't know why. I don't know. Maybe come see him at night. But your focus, I like it, about the freedom flag, honoring that 9/11, everybody. But then you throw all this other stuff into that. Why? Why is this necessary? I mean, we don't want everybody's flag flying here. I mean, you keep saying you patriotic.
Absolutely.
But now this looks like this opening up a can of worms that we just need to take this out and have just get a clean bill to do what you want to do, unless you're thinking about something else. What about that?
No, I think we're covered. I think we're okay here.
I don't think we are. I think this is fly in the ointment here. I don't think this going, because like I said, based on the way this is written and looking at all the flags that have flown over Alabama, I think this is opening it up for something else.
Senator Kelly.
Yes, sir. Would you consider carrying this over and let's get this issue cleaned up? Because I've got two municipalities that are concerned about this, and it sounds like there may be some other concerns, and then we can get it cleaned up and get it what you want done.
I would, unless, Mr. Chairman, since we got some folks here already for the public hearing, or we can do it again next week, whatever, it's your call.
Well, I'm open for a motion.
He made and I seconded. One of us.
Senator Kelly, you moved to carry over. Senator Kelly has moved to carry over to a second.
Second.
Second, Senator Coleman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. We'll carry the bill over the next meeting.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Senate Bill 5.
Oh, well.
Senator Elliott.
Mr. Chairman, in the interest of time, we're scheduled to go on the floor at 3. I would move we carry this bill over.
Motion to carry the bill over. Second, okay. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to say to the gentleman too, as you're preparing for next week, and I was just looking at the list of flags, what about, doing Breast Cancer Awareness Month and different things like that we honor when somebody wants to fly a flag? I know my sorority or fraternity sometimes will fly something. So just kind of thinking about those things as well. And I really agree with the gentlewoman, maybe if we could, because there's two different things going on in this bill. One portion of it is opening up and allowing a flag, then the rest of the bill is being punitive so nobody else can fly a flag. So just FYI as we're moving forward on that bill.
And we've carried over All right, the committee is adjourned.
Are they not?